Non-permanent council member Ecuador called the closed-door meeting of the council among regional countries that have been critical of the official election outcome in Venezuela.
This is not the first time the council has addressed the situation in Venezuela. However, the actions taken by the regime of Nicolas Maduro since the presidential elections held on last July 28, which have exacerbated the Venezuela crisis, make it imperative for the Council to consider it yet again. The current trajectory of escalating tensions in Venezuela, claims of human rights violation, and violent and disappropriate repression against the population threaten to undermine regional stability. It is for this reason that Ecuador is in the view that the Security Council needs to be informed of the evolution of the situation in Venezuela in order to fulfill the role of conflict prevention in accord with the Charter.
Election experts deployed to Venezuela in late June released an interim report in August, finding that the presidential election fell short of the basic transparency and integrity measures that were essential to holding credible elections. The panel found that while the election was largely peaceful and logistically well organized, the CNE did not and still has not published any results to support its oral announcement of Maduro's victory as envisaged in the country's legal framework, warning that announcing an election outcome without the publication of its details or the release of tabulated results had no precedent in contemporary democratic elections, and that this had a negative impact on the confidence in the outcome among a large part of the Venezuelan electorate. The UN Human Rights Office pointed this week to a climate of fear in Venezuela at the moment, urging the government to ensure all steps are taken in line with international human rights law, a view echoed by the UN Secretary General.
The National Electoral Council has still not released the election results by polling stations. The Secretary General continues to call for complete transparency in that regard, and he reiterates his call for the full protection and respect of human rights and continues to urge all parties to resolve any electoral disputes through peaceful means. He is concerned about reports of human rights violations, including alleged arbitrary detention of minors, journalists, human rights defenders, members or supporters of the opposition, and others. He recalls that everyone has the right to hold opinions without interference, to freedom of expression and peaceful assembly.
Regional countries including Mexico, Colombia and Brazil have been trying to negotiate a peaceful solution to the crisis.
Então, o que nós estamos exigindo?
What are we demanding? Venezuela has an electoral council. It was a National Electoral Council with 3 people from the government and 2 from the opposition. That council had to give its position on the voting tallies. What happened is that President Maduro didn't listen to that council and went directly to the Supreme Court. I am not questioning the Supreme Court. I only think that the correct way would be to go through the Electoral Council, which was created with that purpose. I don't accept his victory, nor that of the opposition. He says he won, the opposition says they won, but there is no proof.
Several countries, including China and Russia, have congratulated Maduro on his victory, while South Africa is monitoring the post-election process, reaffirming its support for the people of Venezuela to self-determination without the interference of external forces. Sherwin Brycebees, SABC News, New York.